get some chapstick. Every time I make videos like these, for some reason, my mom always has the audacity to be like, why your lips look so chapped? Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a good one, even though 9 times 10, hey, I know it's not the case, but hey, you gotta keep on thriving, you gotta keep on striving, gotta keep on living. We are back. We are back to stomping grounds. A lot has happened. A lot has happened in the last few weeks, in the last month. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a long conversation. So buckle up, get into it, and enjoy it. But yeah, there's a lot that happened in the beginning of Alicante, right? And being out there, in the beginning, it was just incredible. It was absolutely everything. It was perfect, down to the minute detail. We ended up going to an absolute beautiful Airbnb right in the center of Alicante. You couldn't get anything better. It overlooked one of the major castles up on the hill, and it was beautiful. Like, music playing in the center, and we're right in front of it, and like we're right on top of restaurants from below. And the inside of the place was immaculate. It was clean. It was beautiful. It looked like it was just made. Everything was incredible. It breed an incredible stomping ground to work and work and work and not feel like you're in like an entire enclosed case and you can't get anything out. That's how it felt, right? I would wake up at 8 o'clock and then go to the beach and go do a beach workout with calisthenics. That's part of the reason why calisthenics is incredible, because you can do it anywhere. Anyway, do an incredible beach workout there, come back, take a nice shower. If I wanted to go in the water, I'll go in the water, just chill out, but then come back, take a nice shower, and then write down what you're grateful for. Write down all the gratitude stuff, write down everything that's incredible about life, just to make sure that you're grounded. And then you can make yourself a nice meal, make yourself a nice little morning breakfast to get yourself started, right? It's already 10 still, or 11, but that's fine, because everything really starts in regards to work at around 1 all the way up to like 12 o'clock in the morning, right? So that's what was great about it. You had that. And I know I'm kind of like segueing into this, but sorry about that. What's incredible, I had to get a charger. What's incredible even more about it is like after that, right? After you had an immaculate morning, right? You filled your cup basically. You filled everything up in your entire cup. You then went to work. And your work could have been at a Starbucks for the entire day, or your work could have been at that place, or your work could have been at a cafe that overlooks the water. Like, what? Not to mention, like, all you need is your computer, you need Wi-Fi, you need a charge 100%, and you need some earbuds. Noise cancellation. That's it. It didn't feel real. And in the sense, I reminded myself throughout that time, this is normal. Because it is. It is, because I've seen people out there do it. I've seen people out there live that lifestyle. And not to mention, I've seen people out there do it the right way. Right? They didn't spend thousands of dollars on a million different things just to, flex and be a big baller. They just did the right stuff. They did the necessary things, the necessary food. If they wanted to go out and go eat, they would go out and go eat. But they also, if they wanted a budget, they could budget. That place you could easily budget. That's what made it so beautiful. It's the fact that the actual job itself gave you that opportunity. But most importantly, it's the fact that you were out there and the sun was out. Everything was out. People looked alive. People looked like they were living to live, They weren't just living to work, right? It was incredible. And then Marbella, we took a trip out there. And that really capped off a lot of, the high life that everybody sees in regards to sales, in regards to, what you see on your computer screen or on your phone screen, seeing somebody travel the world or live in a nice, villa and all this craziness, right? It put to perspective a lot. And I think the most important thing it put to perspective is, do I really want that? Do I really want that type of environment of being in a beautiful villa, right? Yes, of course. Everybody says that on the outside. And then when you're in there, you get, a few moments where you're just like, okay, what's next? That's the scary part. That's what I started feeling as I, started leaving and packing up and getting into a new zone of being in a new place. That's what I started feeling, because I was just like, what is next? What is next in the chapter? What is next in the rule book? That feeling of always wanting more started creeping in. And then in my mind, I'm like, what is gratitude then? What actually is gratitude? Because right now, it's like I'm having a hard time trying to have gratitude for something like this. And I know that's kind of like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But there comes a time where when you're in it and when you're actually there and all the butterflies go away of, oh my God, this is incredible, oh my God. And you literally live there more than a few weeks. You start to think and you start to get into these zones, right? So that's what was interesting about it, that perspective. And at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not here to teach you. I'm not here to do any of that. So if you're looking for lessons, this isn't where you're supposed to be. But the biggest thing is I want to document all this. I want to document how I felt throughout that time. I want to document all that because it's also to show you how it's doable. If I were to explain my entire month to anybody at that base, I think they would simply be like, you are living a fantasy. And maybe I am. Maybe I am. But goddamn, it's pretty fucking cool. Anyway, so we get through that. We get through the beautiful environment of Alicante, the beautiful environment of Marbella, and life couldn't be so perfect until it felt, the other part of it, when you're at your highest, that, you're just waiting for the drop. You're waiting for the drop, and the drop kicked pretty soon the moment I got back. I ended up getting really, really sick, like very, very sick, to the moment where I haven't been sick like that in a minute. I lost so much weight. I just felt my body depleting. All the gains that I was making were gone. My mindset was that I built up so much throughout that time was slowly slipping away. Everything was just slipping and slipping and slipping. And I spent like 4 days of being sick, just watching TV and stuff and not moving from the bed at all. And it was just like, oh my God, what a incredible way to be introduced back into, the UK. The moment I've flown in, throughout that entire time of traveling back to the UK, I felt terrible. And the moment I've flown in, I just seen the gray skies. I seen no sun. I seen it was cold, it was rainy. I spent $120 just to go 30 minutes back to my town. I was just slapped left and right. I felt like I was just like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Like, this is not how the story is supposed to go. That's what I thought, And anyway, after I finished being sick, I ended up getting the rude awakening of going back to, the job, going back to the military job. And I remember walking up to those doors on my first day, still feeling like shit, and we'll get to it. But I remember walking up to those doors and literally being like, is this it? Like, is this really it? Is this what we're going back to? And lo and behold, when I went over there, my first day, I still had a lot of things carrying over from the sickness. And I saw like my inbox and I saw all the things it was piling up, and I was like, there's no way. I'm not doing this today. I literally said it. I was like, I'm going back home. I'm sick. I don't feel good. Stuff like that. And it's funny though, because all the habits that I built up, I started feeling like I'm losing it. I feel like I'm losing it now. But anyway, once I got over the sickness, there's so much to think about. There was so much to think about it throughout that time. I was just like, is this really it? Like, I started questioning a lot of my own abilities, started questioning a lot about my own self. This month hasn't been great in sales at all. Like, I haven't done anything at all, and it's been pretty shitty. And it's been a moment where I'm just like fuck, Like, what happened? Like, where in the rule book did this just drop? Did everything just start hitting the fan? But I think at the end of the day, I reminded myself again and again. I was like, with every highs, there's gonna be a low, and I was like, at the end of the day, whether this is a low or not, this is a challenge simply. I'm being challenged, and if I cannot withstand the challenge, maybe it wasn't worth it, right? So when it comes down to it, like these past few days, throughout this week, were supposed to be, productive. They were supposed to be incredible, right? And I got up to Wednesday and I just got smacked, right? Because to give you the idea, my day-to-day schedule before Alicante was waking up at 5, getting after it, going for a run, right? Getting ready to go to work, change up really quick, drive to work, try not to crash, try not to die from falling asleep on the road, go to work, do the job from like 7:30 to 4:30, make sure you do the job, do it well, get off of work, drive over, it's around 5:30, start your calls from 5:30 all the way up to 10, and then after 10, go eat, right? And then go back to sleep and wake up at 5. I got slapped royally. I got slapped. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, how the fuck did Mendoza do this before Alicante? That's how I've been feeling as of late. I was like, how did Mendoza do this before Alicante? And I think there was a lot of things on the outside that also Mendoza was doing that we wasn't proud of. Like in regards to the porn situation, he was using that as a way to crutch all the consistencies that he needed throughout that day to be successful with sales. And a lot of people, like I said, they talk to me about sales. They talk to me about, oh, how are you doing this? Like, how are you able to do this? And it's funny, though, because now I'm saying, like, don't do it. Don't do it. For people in the military, don't do it. If you're not willing to work from 4:30 on, or when you get off of work and start dialing and start cold calling people up and everything, if you're not willing to do that till the time you go to bed, and then wake up early in the morning, go get your workout in, and then go to work, and then also have people talk about what you do rather than what they do because they're not doing as much, and then they feel resentment and all this craziness, right? Don't do it. But if you feel like you're up for the challenge and you feel like you have a solid work hour and it's in your time zone that you're able to work US hours, and you feel like you can do it, it's there for you. So yes, a lot has changed, a lot has transpired, and a lot will continue to transpire. Like when I came back, I had a lot of feelings where I was looking at everyone else and I was like, they just don't get it. They don't get like my sort of day-to-day, right? I started realizing, like when it comes to all the mindsets and mindfulness and all this and everything in the bunch, there's certain levels to where you have more time because you allowed yourself to have more time freedom, right? You've been able to gain more time freedom back to where now you can start utilizing that time wisely and doing mindfulness stuff, having that extra 5 minutes, having that extra 10 minutes to write, how you're grateful for today, all this predictive programming stuff and everything. And I think it's great. I do. You just need to find, okay, what do you have for time? Like, what can you actually do with your time freedom right now? Like, everyone has their regular 9-to-5 job, and I get that. And at the end of the day, you are pushing to get out of that. So then you can have the time freedom. Because ultimately, all these extra little things that you see, all these extra little gurus do it's about mindfulness, it's about this. They do it now because they couldn't do it in the past because they were working towards getting to a place where then they can have the time freedom. So with what you have right now, I think this is the most important thing I learned from leaving Alicante. I had all the time in the world and I took advantage of it. I now don't have most time in the world, basically. So I shouldn't be mad that I'm not doing those things that they're saying. And you could say excuses all the way, but at the end of the day, it's like putting extra tasks on your list that shouldn't be there yet. It's like, why would I, at the end of the day, like, okay, you have a job to do, right? You have to build a door, right? My task is simply to build a door. I need to build this door. Okay. Now, in that task list on how to build a door, it's like, why would I put on there, like, have 20 minutes to think about how are we going to build this door, right? And then also, what sort of fabric of wood shall we do to build this door when we already have the fabric there, or something like that? Build the fucking door. Right? Build the fucking door at this point, right? It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have fucking time. You're on a time crunch. Go build the fucking door, right? Once you have a lot more time, then we can start talking about the actual material, the fucking wood that you're gonna have to use for the door, and how we're gonna like make it look really crazy. But build the fucking door. You start putting all this craziness on you. You start putting all these extra little steps on there on, oh, we have to meditate. Oh, we have to do this. Oh, we have to do that. And then you're going to start realizing, like, oh my God, like, I'm like a fucking code. Like, I'm a bot. Like, I feel like I don't have, I don't have intention with the quality of work that I know I can do, right? Because I'm throwing a million different tasks on something that just needs to get done. As like an example with this, right? When I wake up, I could always write down my goals and stuff like that. And that's great. I think, it's definitely recommended to do that. But don't get mad if you don't. Don't get mad if you don't have time to sit there and think for 5 minutes and have time to meditate and shit like that. Get the fucking job done. I have to get up. I have to go run. I have to go do this. And for sure, there's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to run or I'm going to work out, right? Because you're filling your cup, right? But all this extra shit, it's not necessary. Think about how many rich millionaires are there and all that stuff. And a lot of them, like, how many are actually overweight? John Daly. He golfs and dude looks like he's like living on a, like looks like he's crazy. So do what you can in the environment that you have, and don't compare yourselves to the people that are around you, because at the end of the day, they're at a different level. And when you get to that level, then you'll start seeing why it makes sense, right? And when it comes to the sales side of things, like, I realized the confidence is one thing that I'm still working on. Respecting my boundaries is another. I've not respected my boundaries to where I have people that hop on the call that are like, oh, I appreciate you for the time, but at the end of the day, I'm going to still think about it. And I'm like, brother, that is exactly what you've been doing this entire time. First, you thought about joining this call. Now you joined it, right? First, you thought about thinking about how am I going to actually make money, right? And now you're on the call and saying, oh, I want you to think about it again on what decision I'm going to make. And then you're going to, think about something else. Oh, maybe that's how we're going to think about it, right? And then you start thinking about that thing that you want to actually do to end up making money. And then you're going to start thinking about, should I, schedule this call? And then you schedule the call, but then you're going to talk to another guy and you're going to think about the decision that you're going to make for that, just because it's XYZ. So it's all this craziness, right? But I'm not respecting my calendar. I'm not respecting my boundaries enough. And a lot of times, a lot of them are walking all over. So it's definitely, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to pick up. But I think the most important thing is we're still going. At the end of the day, like, I will not stop. I will not stop. I have 4 months to make this work. I have 4 fucking months to make this work. By November, there should be a whole different turnaround. And I know there will, and I know it will happen. But right now, we are in the beginning stages of saying, get your fucking ass up and let's get to fucking work. Right? Margaritaville is almost there. And by Margaritaville, I'm talking about Florida. But Margaritaville is almost there. Right? And that's a whole different chapter. But we don't need Margaritaville right now. We need to just fucking work. Too bad that it's like shitty outside. Too bad that there's, there's shade always. Too bad that I don't see the sun anymore. Too bad that I don't see any of these clouds. Too bad that it keeps on raining. Too bad that, everybody at the base, a lot of them are, just pretentious. A lot of them, too bad, like, they don't think that I can do this. Too bad that they're questioning my moves. Too bad that someone called me a traitor. Too bad that all this extra stuff. Too fucking bad. Oh, well, right? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Too bad that I feel like I need to compare myself to other people, or too bad that I feel like those people don't understand what I'm going through right now. Nobody fucking cares. No one fucking cares. Nobody cares. Like, no one cares where you're at right now, what stage you're at, and, like, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I could literally even say, like, I talk to my mom and my parents and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they don't care. They just want to see me happy, right? And at the end of the day, though, it's kind of in the sense where, they won't care. The only person that cares is you, right? So why are we gonna, overreact? Why are we gonna overthink? Why are we gonna always ask other people questions when we know the goddamn answer? If you know the goddamn answer, go fucking do it. Do you feel like you earned today? Enjoy it. Feel like you didn't? Get to fucking work. Like, movement, speed, movement, speed, all these extra things that we need. Just get to fucking work. Fair enough? Fair enough, good sir. Anyway, let's close it out, shall we? This is not the end, only the beginning. Videos like these will always happen, even though a lot of people naturally don't want to watch these videos because it's 20 minutes. And if you don't want to watch these videos for 20 minutes and you want to get anything out of this, by all means, at the end of the day, this is documentary stuff. This is not meant to blow up. This is not meant to hit millions of followers and everything. I have people that always tell me, oh, like, you're destined for 1,000 subscribers. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I really do not care. I don't care who watches this. This is for me. This is for me to look back on it. This is for me to also, in the case where God forbid anything bad happens, somebody in my family might grow up and they might say, oh, you had an uncle one time. He has a YouTube channel, actually. He used to document a lot of his life. And that kid's going to be like, oh, let me find out. I want that type of fucking story. What story do you want? What do you want? What type of story do you want? Do you want to live the next 20 years and do the same thing that you're doing right now and then have the goddamn gall to, judge or criticize anyone else that's actually trying to make something work or trying to change something up or trying to do something that's completely out of the norm? What do you want to do? What life do you want to live? That's the real question. I feel like I have an answer. So, from top of the world where batteries still don't exist to the bottom of depths where life still lives, do you dare to dream? As a matter of fact, do you dare to take the next step? I'll see y'all later.